Hello. Whew. Welcome to Doobies and Movies, number 18.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, look at this little show. Started off at 1 and now we're at 18. This week we're talking about His Dark Materials, Season 2, Episode 6, entitled Malice. I mean, aptly titled for how I feel towards it. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, I'm wearing my happy face jumper because I'm trying to be positive about the show.
Still,
So yeah, after our last week, I did watch the last episode again, and I came away with slightly better impressions than watching it the first time. And I got a similar thing this week. I mean, there was a few things. Yeah, I am really starting to see the pumminess and the lack of creativity with the show. I think when you look at the source material, they really should be doing a better job than this. Nevertheless, I still think the show has some good moments. I still think it's going in the right direction. And yeah, this episode, to be honest, was probably my least favorite. Probably, to be honest. There just wasn't really anything in it. There wasn't really any moments that I was really enjoying or really. I mean, there was like one good chat with Will and Lyra that I liked. I suppose the battle at the end was quite good. I mean, it was quite nice to see like some of Joffrey's powers. And there was actually a bit at the beginning with the angels where they talk about Lord Asriel that I thought was good, that I missed watching it the first time. There's a bit where Mary Malone's sitting and she gets like angel wings behind her. So there was a few good moments in it. But overall, yeah, it just is becoming dull, and there is a lack of creativity and there's a lack of fun. And it just seems like a lot of just kind of boring conversations, plot moving slowly ahead, a lot of exposition. But yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to be positive, like I say.
I mean, the way you talk about the show is how I felt about it before these past
Right.
episodes. These past episodes is like, I don't know, could have been written by two monkeys and a baby, like I just think it's absolute shambles, box ticking. The fact that you get no Lee and Joffrey last episode, and then they just arrive at their destination, and all they want to talk about is exposition that they would have had their whole journey on the balloon to talk about. It's just so it's tiresome, no genuine human interaction. Most of the episode, the constant use of Lyanna Mormont and her suddenly being the leader of an army of kids.
For me. Why is she in it so much? And she's still going to be in it because Mary Malone's gone to find the parents with her. It's like, just bring some other kids into it.
That's a symbol of the laziness behind the show, though, don't you think? There's one person to represent everyone.
The world if there was like all these other kids as well. Like there was no reason that you have to be following, and they're not even likable. Like if you had like one character you were following that was likable out of the kids in Chittigaza, then it's a bit more understandable. But you're just following this kid who you're not rooting for in any way, and the acting's not very good either. Her and the other girl. It seems not that I'm, it might be the writing, or whatever, but.
It seems to be a common trend in the show thus far that each group and perspective is only represented by one person.
Same with the witches, right?
Yeah. There's two. There's one to represent one perspective, one to represent the contradictory perspective. Well, they've done this a lot.
So, I think I'm remembering right that because Joffrey had a relationship with one of the witches, right?
I believe that's true.
And then he gets killed by the witch at the end of Subtle Knife, right?
I don't remember how he dies.
I think that's what happens. I was thinking about it earlier, and I was like, I think it's the witch that he like broke her heart, and then she comes back right at the end and kills him, and there's this whole brutal scene at the end. Spoilers, sorry, I should have said before. But like, I'm now wondering, like, how is that gonna pull off at all? Because in the books, that's a really powerful moment. It's not gonna. We haven't even talked about that, And maybe they'll do it differently in the show. I don't know, but we haven't. And it would have been a nice way to add some more witches' perspectives. I mean, in the book, she's a bit more of a naive witch. She's not like as big and powerful and headstrong as the other ones. Adds a bit more humanity and character to the witches as a whole. They're not all just these, stony, lifeless, non-human creatures. So I don't know. That was a big thing for me. I'm like, they really could have had this other witch's perspective. It was a lot more passionate and a lot more human.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, if they developed the witches more, like I said, kind of took the HBO approach when they build worlds where every single person is kind of important, and you wouldn't be surprised if the next episode was suddenly about them. And it's not just Game of Thrones and non-fantasy level Wire, Sopranos, a lot of even like Westworld has this approach where like any single person you meet has this
and they could have had more episodes. They could have done 10 episodes each, I think, and they could have gone deeper, and it could have also been more entertaining. It could have also been more.
It's not like there's one way to do it, obviously, but the overall point is that there's not a vision in the way they did it. They did it with as limited thought, I believe, as they could have done. Like,
no, I get
creativity
it. And it's like, look, I mean, in my opinion, they're not fucking it up. In my opinion, they're kind of doing.
Isn't fucking it up pure doing this?
Yeah, well, yeah, in some sense it is. I mean, I guess fucking it up would be like Golden Compass, where it's just absolutely atrocious, whereas this is just boring.
How much better is this than Golden Compass?
I haven't seen Golden Compass I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I don't know. But I remember absolutely hating that. And
Golden Compass still did the action scenes better than the first season of His Dark Materials.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, no, that was, yeah, you're right. It was worse, especially in season 1 of His Dark Materials, because I don't even hate on that season too much. I think it was lacking in creativity, but I think it had a little bit more personality to it. It was paced a little bit better, and it felt a bit more human with the Egyptians and stuff like that. Season 2 has just been a muddly mess, like, and yeah, like that, and that's it. That's even like, I'm slowly watching Deadwood, which is another old HBO show, and it's like a bit hard to get into, which is why I haven't got so far yet. But again, it's this Western, and you're meeting this whole town of Deadwood in this ranch. It's a weird word to say. Yeah, ranch. Yeah, the world building, it's in all those old HBO shows, and it's just not there. Like I said, so. For example, yeah, we talked about the animal, we talked about the witches. In the Magisterium, Father McPhail is his perspective versus one other perspective in the Magisterium. There's no other people with any nuance. No one else that has a real, like, they're all just like, it's like...
Yeah, imagine if it was this big plotting thing with all these different people, all these several different actors who you were following, real like Game of Thrones thing with... I mean,
and then even go into... to Omi Jalili's character, that consultant for the witches. Like, he's the one person you meet that knows anything about the witches. Oh, he's the guy in the trial where all this exposition comes out. It's like, people aren't in the show in order to have emotions and feel and be human. They're in the show in order for A to get to B, and then for B to get to C. And that's just a frustrating thing, to be honest. And I think it's very lazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it's that level of like, I don't want to be praising people for doing the most limited shit.
And I'm not praising these people at all. I mean, this is the thing, when it is, in my opinion, the greatest fantasy series, but at least on par with things like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and whatever else. It's like they should be hitting those kind of levels. It should be really creative, and and if they're going to adapt it as well, like, they can make these changes, but yeah, it's got to have that vision. It's got to be, yeah, I don't know. So for me, it's like, look, if this was a normal show that I was watching, I think I'd be, kind of enjoying it, wanting to see what happened next. I think I would still be watching, to be honest. I don't think I would think it was amazing, but I think I would still be watching. But considering that the source material is so good, yeah, I do think they're doing the bare minimum, to be honest. And I wouldn't say they're fucking it up, but it is generally just boring. And And maybe
Yeah,
you're right. Maybe that is fucking it up. Maybe fucking it
that's
up
what
is
I
not
mean.
being as special with it. You know,
I think I don't know how bad the product you'd accept as fucking it up is.
yeah.
However, what else? Yeah, so we talked about how Lee and Joffrey was rushed, and they didn't have any real conversation. We haven't talked about Miss Coulter and Boreal.
I mean, Boreal was just like, what? I mean, what happened to his character? I don't know. He's such a.
He's become a wetty.
He's become
I
such a
know.
yeah, totally. And he's just become an idiot as well.
Yeah, and the way she kills him, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah,
Bit lame, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't the most. You know, it felt like that was supposed to be a big climactic moment, and it just didn't quite hit like that.
The fact that he seems so naive in his arrogance that she's gonna fall for him when she's not interested in him at all. I
think
don't
he should
get.
know that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he should exactly. Like the guy is a fucking smart guy. The guy's built this whole company. He's traveled between worlds. He's high in the magisterium. Like, come on, like this guy would know, and he's meant to be the one guy that's not stupid as well. Like, and I kind of think they even could have done this whole thing, but with just her leading him on a little bit more and being just done a little bit more intelligently, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that would make sense, and it would make sense that she was, was able to control this guy and manipulate him as intelligent as he was. But instead, it just felt like she was just kind of being manipulative, and he was just an idiot, rather than she was like, And again, maybe just sort of poor writing.
No, 100%.
Yeah, that was anticlimactic for me. And Boreal, I love first season. I love beginning of this season even, and then he just suddenly just starts being a bit of an idiot,
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I thought he was quite good at the beginning, and he's turned into a wetty. I didn't understand why he suddenly lost all of his intelligence. It's kind of reminiscent of Tyrion in Game of Thrones, where suddenly he loses his intelligence at some point.
Well, yeah, just for the sake of the plot.
Just for the sake of the plot, yeah. Yeah, obviously, Mary Malone got to City Ghazi. Whatever, not much happened there. She's gonna go on a mission with fucking annoying Lyanna Mormont, so that's not very exciting.
The one bit I like was like there was some good moments between Will and Lyra.
And yeah, carrying on with the book, kind of spoilers, but I guess not too explicit. Just with what's gonna happen to Lee and Joffrey, I am very, very disappointed with the lack of effort in wanting to add some emotion to their characters at this point in the series. I really feel like they could have fixed a lot by having them in one of the last 2 episodes on the balloon have a genuine, like, deep conversation.
Really touching conversation.
Yeah, I think that would have gone a long way.
Gave you goosebumps. Really lovely.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that would have gone a long way.
The acting's great. They totally could have pulled it off if the writing had been even half decent.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't care for any of the witches stuff. Serafina, I think, is just a fucking joke. She is unreal sick in the books, and this is just actually a bit of a joke. Will and Lyra's scene, yeah, that was nice again, but they seem to be following a structure whereby they try and have this kind of second act combo with Will and Lyra that grounds it before the final moment, and it's like, okay, you can't just resort to that constantly.
Well,
finally, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the one bit that I didn't notice watching it the first time was the bit with the angels right at the beginning. And like I say, that bit's got me a bit excited. It's not like there was any good writing or that interesting. It's just got me excited for the next episode because one of the witches has gone off to see Lord Asriel with the angels. So hopefully you can see Lord Asriel's fortress. I imagine it will probably be a disappointment, but like I say, I'm remaining hopeful. And hopefully it is some massive fucking sick castle with loads of different creatures.
Yeah, we'll see how they do that based on how they've done a lot of it. I'm not very hopeful. Other than that, I think Miss Coulter controlling the specters is the one thing that we haven't touched upon. Again, I don't know. Again, if you haven't read the books, but it just seems very haphazard. Like, okay, yeah, suddenly she can control them. Great, cool.
Well, it kind of followed on. It did follow on from the fact that she could leave her demon. She left her demon in the room in the previous episode.
Yeah, I
So
suppose.
you're kind of seeing that she has this
Okay,
control over her.
let's not hate on that too much. Let's not hate on that too much.
No, I didn't have any problem with that. I thought it was quite a well done scene. Yeah, it worked, you know.
So, yawn. I think that's as eloquent as anything that has been said so far. Was that yawn? That yawn exemplified things that words couldn't quite encapsulate, which is the yawniness to my emotions towards his Dark Materials.
Yeah. It just hasn't really made me feel anything, to be honest.
No.
I think the one moment this season that did it was when Lyra was first talking to the computer. It's the only point. I mean, there was maybe a couple scenes of Will and Lyra that I was a little bit, and yeah, that one first scene with the computer.
I thought a couple of the early episodes were all right. I just feel like it's just every time they add it,
should be building up. It should be getting to real emotional climaxes. You're going to have all this talking if most of the episode is going to be dialogue. You know, have some real conversation, make me feel something, you know. And
make me feel something. Yeah, no, you're right. We've got 2 more episodes left of the season, and I wanted to be excited. I really should be excited for this part of the season. However, I am low-key kind of dreading it. But you know, we ride the show to the end. So Joe, what did you think of this episode out of 10?
I'm gonna say 6. And my last one I also think is a 6 after rewatching it. I think yours probably gonna be a bit lower than that.
3.
3, wow.
3 out of 10 from me.
Yeah, I just thought it was boring and average, and you know, but it still makes sense. It's coherent.
You're probably the fan base of the show at the
moment. It's gonna take a lot for me to go under 5. You know.
Well, no, thank you.
But you know, if the next 2 episodes fuck up, then I am. No, they've got to the end of the season.
Oh, you hear that, BBC? If you don't nail these next 2 episodes,
then I'm still gonna watch it.
Joel's on the no team.
Give it and lower than a 5. You know, I'll be open to it.
Well, yeah. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to have more Doobies and movies. We've got a big one coming for Mando finale. I might do a little roundup, another one of these little roundups I've been doing. So, keep smoking Doobies, keep watching movies, check on Unadulterated reviews, Unscripted, Unedited, Unadulterated. Like and subscribe to the page. Love and vibe every day. Peace out.
Peace.